I am very happy that you guys attended the last podcast, and I know that you guys enjoyed it, and I really appreciate that this thing is gonna keep going. So, for the last guide, I just did a weapons guide on which guns were the best, worst, and in the middle. And about those, yes, there are a lot of weapons that are just by opinions. All the guns are usable, but some are better usable than others. But that's not what we're doing today. Today, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of joining a group, a Death Zone group, to be exact. So, if you are going to join a group in Death Zone, you want to pick the best people, but a lot of the time you want to go alone. And yes, entering the Death Zone alone is definitely a big risk because there are a lot of things that you can benefit from having people by your side. Now, so the first thing, the first actual good thing about being alone in the Death Zone is that you don't ever need to share ammo and supplies with anybody. A lot of the time when you're with somebody, you're gonna have to give someone else something, and in return, you get something back. And yeah, training stuff is good, but you're also going to have to ration stuff among each other: ammo, food, healing items, every time. And yeah, also one thing I do want to mention is that no teammate steals your supply drops. This is also because nobody's going to take any of your stuff, not even ammo on the ground. Literally anything that someone else finds before you, you can get it yourself, because if they're not your teammate, you can just gun them down and take it out. Take it before they take it. Now, one great thing about playing alone is that you don't need to chat. A lot of the time when you're playing co-op or even competitive, you're going to be talking to other people. And when you're playing alone, you will never actually need to talk to somebody. And while communicating with others when you're in your group, there's miscommunication and it takes more time, and while you're typing in chat, you'll probably even get beamed by a SCAR-L. You never know, right? You have to be really vigilant on your own, so not having a reason to chat with anybody else is a great time to focus. Now, one awesome thing about going alone is that nobody's gonna steal your kills. I really hate it when someone steals my kills. A lot of the time I'm just chilling and I see somebody and I take out my op and boom, I hit them right in the head, like 96.5 damage about. And then, as I'm just about to plant one more shot into him and finish him off, another person, my teammate, pops him with, I don't know, a leg shot with his op. And he gets the full credits. He does not. It's not split among people because I did 90% damage of that kill, but I didn't get any of the payout when I killed him, right? Even though I did 90% of the damage, the whole thing just comes to the person who put the last shot in. So that's also really annoying. And one thing I like about being solo is that it's so easy to remain undetected. Like, a lot of the time, even while driving an ATV, it's easier to stay quiet, because if you've ever not had a vehicle with a group, then you'd all be trekking, running along with your rifles out, and it's very easy to get spotted that way. Being alone just makes you one small target. It makes you harder to snipe, harder to pin down. When you're with so many other people, you're very easy to spot, and other people can just come in and, just gun everybody down in your group at once, and that happens very easily. When you're alone, you're nimble and you can get out easily, and you make your own decisions. And the last thing is that going solo generally just makes everybody think you're cool. You're badass. Honestly, it's just fun to be solo most of the time because you're just cool. You're alone and you depend on yourself, and you don't need anybody. You don't need friends because they disappoint you. Now, cons of going solo. As I said before, nobody's going to steal your kills. But one more thing is that you don't get any assists. sometimes when you want to get rid of an enemy quickly and you're dying, it's very important to maybe even get an extra hit from your friend. And, you know, sometimes you can steal their kills if they do 90% of the damage, and then you can put that last shot into them. And that is also a great perk of being with other people. But, it's generally, when you have to depend on yourself, you really do have to depend on yourself to do full damage. And, yeah, also, it's pretty obvious, nobody watches your back at all. Nobody will ever be there to fight back when you are reloading, when you are trying to heal. You are depending on yourself all the time, and that's a lot of that's the main reason that you want to go with a group, because someone else is going to be watching when you're not. And of course, when I said before you don't have to share ammo and supplies, nobody will give you supplies back. Again, sharing is caring, but other people aren't going to share anything to you. It's just kill or be killed at that point. Nobody will care for you at all. And of course, when you're solo, when other groups see you and you're solo, you are a great target. Even 2 people, they see you just lonely walking just to a random civilian city, right? They see you as a great target, and they can just flank you 2 sides and completely sandwich you, and you get gunned down. You are a very easy target, and people will see you as an easy target. It's just hard to fight back most of the time, and, you know, they can take advantage of you easily. Now, when you get into a group, yes, let's say the first time you're playing, you get invited to a group, and you accept it, yeah. And you get assists when you kill people. You start with an M1911, which is not a great weapon. In fact, it's just great to have assists in general, and, you know, like I said before, you could help other people out, and they can help other people out. But, you know, it's also pretty obvious that if you're gonna help you, if someone's gonna help you, they can also just steal your kill, and you do kind of want the reward for that, right? It's a good XP reward. And those extra 2 credits kind of do help. And you also get help with raiding or building bases. When you get into the late game, when you get your Spec Ops armor, your AWP, your rifle, anything at that point, your drums, once you have everything, you're gonna want to start building a base, or you're gonna start raiding a few. It's gonna get progressively harder to actually raid places, and building them is going to be easier, even more easy in the future. And what people don't notice is that you cannot take down a base yourself that easily. In fact, taking down one wall will almost take your whole inventory down. I mean, your stairs, your wood stairs take 100 health, or to 800. Yeah, 800 health, and that's gonna be equivalent to about, I don't know, so many bullets, honestly. It's not gonna be able to do anything. And even with C4 is very expensive. As soon as you put it on a building, you have to commit to it, and once you put it there, it's gone. One more thing, you also do have communication. Like I said before, you don't need to communicate with your teammates to actually help talk to each other, notify each other, hey, there's a guy over there. Yeah, and now you can get help with almost everything. Like, you have eyes everywhere, because they can just tell you. But the one sucky thing about it is that there is no group chat, so, you know, if you're discussing, like, 2 people privately messaging each other, that's great, because it's not gonna have any, it's gonna be completely discreet. There's no way that other people can figure out where you're gonna go at that point. But if you're in more than one person, then privately messaging each individual member is just kind of tedious. But the one thing is that if you're gonna communicate in mortal chat, everybody's gonna know. Oh, let's make our base at prison. Hey, I found an APC. They know exactly what to expect now. That's terrible, and that's why I don't group with people at all. And That's why you always check your global chat, because then you know exactly where they are. So, one bad thing about the group, okay, so, first of all, a lot of members are visible and they can be picked off easily. And it's very fun to take down groups, by the way. I really do like sneaking into a city, and then once they're all searching around, I go pop, 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 silently with a Beretta, and I can just silently take them all down, Hitman style. But also, a very frequent occurrence in making groups in Death Zone is that people betray you. Every single looter shooter. Someone gets invited, and then once you guys meet up, it's like, hey, oh, hi. And then, you know, you're best friends for a while, and then, boom. Bang, 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 bang. You got betrayed. That happens a lot of the time. I hate that. It happens in group projects when you go to school, too. Oh, people are cruel, man. What people do to just win in a video game, to get one extra kill, to just increase the streak, it's brutal. And sometimes you want to do it yourself as well, but just remember that if you're going to do it, there's going to be a notification at the top where it says, oh, Peter Piper Sniper will leave the group in 10 seconds. It has a notification, but also it does not have the notification if it's like a kick or if the place disbands. It's going to be very... You only have 10 seconds to react, and to get far enough to start fighting off your teammates like you've never even met each other before, that is quite risky. That is just... You would really hate to get betrayed like that as well. So next up... a little bit tired. Next up... You are going to fight with your friends a lot. If you do know your personal friend, or your Roblox friends that you've known for a long time, it's going to be pretty easy to get along with them. But in real life or anywhere, you're not going to cooperate with everybody. That's just life. And a lot of the times, yes, I do argue with people in Death Zone, like, P90 is not the best secondary, okay? P90 is not the best secondary. If it's not the worst secondary, okay, I can agree with that, because the M1911 is pretty bad. Yes, I argue with people a lot in Death Zone, but I haven't done it with my teammates. But even then, it's not gonna be nice to start fighting with someone that is on your side and has a gun to your head. They just can't attack you yet. You don't want to ever piss someone off because they have a gun as well. And you don't know when it's gonna happen. Anytime, someone could just kick you out and shoot you because you call them out on using the ACWR. Well, by the way. But in-group fighting happens everywhere, and when you are with people, especially strangers, it's much harder to betray your best friends that you play on Roblox with every day. It's very easy to betray a stranger right there, and it's very easy to fight with a stranger as well. Just make sure that if you're going to group with somebody, you are on good terms with them. Make good rapport with someone right at the start. Do not start arguments or just debating conversations without proper knowledge that they're not going to get mad at you. And it also just wastes a bunch of your time. It makes you mad, and you don't want to be mad playing Death Zone, trust me. I know this point is really stupid, but it's going to be very stupid when it actually happens to you. You do not want to make somebody mad. That's just it. That's period. Don't make somebody mad while you're playing Death Zone, ever. Because it's just not good for anybody. Now, one last thing, it's also pretty obvious. When you invite a stranger, they could lack skill or empathy. Especially when you're not the leader, you have no idea who you're inviting. When you invite someone to the group in Death Zone, it's usually your friend. From the Discord, like, if you know the Strong Blader, he's a good guy, and he's a okay person to group with. But if it's someone out of nowhere, if you, like, get an invitation right when you spawn, when you log in on your first... on your day, well, that means that they're not a good leader either. If you want to be a good Death Zone leader, I could make a video on that as well. But being a good team member, you want to be with people who do have skill and the people who actually care. The people who lack skill just aren't going to protect you as well, and they won't know what to do. They won't listen to you even. The people who just lack empathy, they're not going to help you. Maybe they just like to watch the world burn. They like to watch your group burn, and then they just won't help you at all. And a lot of the time, they just drive away without you. Because they just don't want to wait for you, they want to troll you. Either way, they're being a liability to the group, and those are the people you want to avoid. That's just life. Now, of course, you know how to choose between the people you like or don't like, and that's the big thing. You want to go with your gut when choosing your group. I cannot tell you everything on how to pick your groups and everything, but your groups are very important, and going alone or not is also very important, and it depends on what you want to do. In summary, you want to always know what you're doing. You want to always know who you're getting into, and that's really everything. So, with everything said, that's all. Well, have a good night.